Okay, yeah, this has been a long time coming. Obviously a lot of guys have been saying, no, you're a Double H man. The review of Robin Hood, Robin Hood. Obviously because I've been preaching, I think that because I was saying that this was going to be one of those films to watch out for this year. So, from what I've been saying, well, basically, this is a very, very difficult one to gauge, to really come out with an overall thing because before I went in, the people were saying that, okay, this film is bad. I was hearing that I was getting mixed reviews, lukewarm reviews, some even bad reviews. And just to put it out there, it's pretty weird and crazy if anyone is going to call that film bad. Because, I'm sorry, that film is not bad, It has a different kind of problem, but if you're being an objective critic, just looking at it objectively, you can't call that film bad. You have to call it good. It is above average. It's a good flick. But I think the bad reviews and the mixed reviews come with what this thing is about and the atmosphere really surrounding this thing. The parameters surrounding how this product was being made and how it was being touted and everything. But fresh at the bat, I just want to just go straight into this thing. Look, man, I'm a fan of the whole Robin Hood mythos and, what the guy stands for and the whole, rob from the rich, give to the poor kind of thing, It's such a universal message that even if it's a very British character, it's very English, I think anybody from any culture can connect to the guy who rises up against the rich elite and the rich few to try and bring some justice to society. It's a universal message. But I think from in a lot of the Robin Hoods that I've seen, I wanted to see a Robin Hood where it just goes back to the core. It goes back to the very beginning and tries to introduce me as who is Robin Hood. What happened before he entered into this forest? What happened before he wore those green tights? And I think that's pretty much what Ridley Scott wanted to do. And in this film, he was successful in a certain sense. He was very successful in showing that. Look, go into the film. It's Ridley Scott. The battles are amazing. It is very well directed. He mixes style with substance very well in this. Obviously people have accused him of just being only style, but I think this is a good balance between style and substance. The performances from everyone was pretty much great. The King John guy, he had good bits and he had bad bits. So he looked very much, he looked the part, but I think that his acting was a bit too overemphasized in some bits. But really, apart from that, William Hurt was great. John Lithgow was great. Russell Crowe. Look, we'll get to Russell Crowe. Kate Blanchett, man, trust me. She's definitely one of the few female actors of her age group who really excels in pretty much every role that she's given. Extreme talent there, extreme talent. And again, she was very good in this. The sheriff of Nottingham was hilarious, man. That guy was very, very funny, The guy he just looked like, yes, this is the sleazy, dirty sheriff of Nottingham, who happily takes people's taxes. And yeah, the acting all around was good, But I think where the issue in this thing really, I think it comes around when we talk about the script and the story. I think Ridley Scott, he was trying to go for something. He was trying to go for something that was different from Prince of Thieves, different from Men in Tights, and different from obviously the BBC TV series, which I still think is easily the best Robin Hood incarnation out there. The one with Ray Winstone. But I think what Ridley Scott was trying to do was make this thing very real. Remove all the Hollywood and razzmatazz of the guy swinging and saving Mary. He wanted to remove that. He wanted to put Robin Hood in a much more of a real setting, So obviously, in this thing, we have this whole thing going on with the French and the British, and we have this guy Godfrey, played by obviously the up and coming, up and rising Mark Strong, who was obviously he was very good in this as well. So yeah, he's obviously playing both. I mean, spoilers beware. Okay, so they're going to be spoilers. I mean, basically, so Godfrey, he's playing both sides. He's playing both. He's working with the French, but he's also British as well, doing King John's bidding, as you see. So mixed up in all of this, you have obviously Richard the Lionheart. So obviously he dies, then John takes over, and then you now see Godfrey going and taking people's taxes as King John does. So then Robin Hood gets involved in all of this thing, being in Nottingham, taking. They were not trying to explain the whole Sir Robin of Locksley thing, which meant that it wasn't really his name. Obviously, his name is Robin Longstride, but he got the whole Locksley thing from the second in command to Richard the Lionheart, who actually died. So Robin taking his sword, and then thus taking that name. So really the crux of the story is obviously this Godfrey guy going around burning down places around England and trying to take people's taxes, and obviously Robin Hood has to try and obviously get in there and stop this. But then it evolves into a whole thing of the French trying to invade, blah blah, King John getting messed up. So I think now this is where the problem is. I think that's all fair and good. More real, make it historical, but with a few fictional changes here and there, and putting Robin Hood into that whole, into that whole mix of history. But I think the problem is that the film was very good. Okay, you cannot take that away from this film. This film was very well directed, very well acted. The script was tight, and it's pretty much stuck to what it wanted to do. It wasn't confused. From beginning, middle to end, it knew what it wanted to do, and it succeeded in doing that. But I think the problem many people have had with this thing is that they come away not feeling like this doesn't feel like a Robin Hood. And you can look at that in various ways. Look, I agree with Ridley Scott wanting to put this thing as in what is Robin Hood about. We don't need to see this guy doing born arrows all the time. Okay, let's now try to get to the crux of what Robin Hood is about. We don't need the recognizable things of what Robin Hood is. Let's try and make this more real. Which I felt was also a good angle to go to. But with this, it felt like, once you saw Robin Hood already in Richard the Lionheart's army, I was like, oh, okay, this is a bit too quick. What about what happens to him? But I thought, okay, the script may be written in a way where, you now see him in operating in the army, and you now learn about his character in relation to obviously his comrades for maybe about the first half hour, and then you go back into the past. So it's sort of like a two-pronged thing. So on the one hand, you're having him in the army and how he relates to his comrades, and in the other dimension, you have him as a boy, his relationship with him and his father in Nottingham, and what he was about, what his father was about, what his father stood for. So I thought we're going to see a lot more of that. But I think the problem is this: is that I was going halfway through and everything like that. I was like, okay, the acting is all good and everything, but I still don't know who Robin Hood is. I think that for me, that you can't really call it a flaw. That's the thing. Because there were no flaws in this film. It's just that it didn't do things which could have really maximized what was already there. Because what was already there was obviously a very tight and quality film. A very quality film, But those qualities could have been maximized.